All right, so here we go. First thing, reflecting it, finding the line of reflection. So if you go ahead and graph those 2 points for me, point A, -2, 3, and A prime, 3, 5. Find the line of reflection now. What line did I reflect A over to get to A prime? Are we all in agreement it's definitely not horizontal or vertical? And we're definitely in agreement it's not y equals x or y equals -x because it doesn't fit the rule that I would have given you on Friday. All right, so we need to figure out what this brand new diagonal line is. I don't think I did. I didn't do a great job of this on Friday, but when you have a point and its image and the line of reflection, I don't think I talked maybe at all about this. Did I talk at all what the line of reflection does to that segment if you connect it? Okay, so lightly right now, lightly with your pen or pencil, whatever you're working with, go ahead and make a segment out of A and A prime. Go ahead and make a segment out of it, lightly. Okay, when you form that segment between your pre-image point and your image point, and don't draw this one in, your line of reflection, whatever it is, your line of reflection acts as a perpendicular bisector. It's perpendicular to that segment and bisects it. Right? So that's any line of reflection, horizontal, vertical, diagonal, I don't care. It acts as a perpendicular bisector between those 2 points. So what am I really asking for here? When I ask for what's the equation, the line of reflection, if I change the directions for you guys, I'm actually asking for the perpendicular bisector of AA prime, that segment. That's what I'm asking for right now. Right? Because any line of reflection is a perpendicular bisector for that segment that it forms. So that's what I need your help with. Can you get the equation for the perpendicular bisector of AA prime? All right, you guys know how to do this. I just need to jumpstart you here, give you a little help. Let's talk about the perpendicular part first of the perpendicular bisector. Okay. You start feeding me information now. If these two are going to be perpendicular, what should I start looking for right now? They're what? See, yep, everybody. They're slopes, all right, because they have a certain relation. If 2 lines are perpendicular, the slopes have a relationship. So the first thing I'll have you guys find is what's the slope of, M for slope, AA prime, that segment. All right, what's the slope of AA prime? And hey, can we use y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1? We could. I don't have that time. Let's do it now. What else can I use if I've already got the darn thing graphed? How can I find the slope of AA prime? It's already graphed. Zoe, rise over run. Let's do it. Somebody's getting called on here first. Rise over run. What is the slope of AA prime using rise over run? I just don't have the time to do the change in y over change in x with the coordinates. So rise over run, what's the slope of AA prime? Ian? 2/5. There you go, 2/5. So that means, oh, wait, the line of reflection is the perpendicular bisector of that. So is everyone all right if I abbreviate it LOR? All right, that's not Lord of the Rings. All right, not even into that. I've never watched any of the movies. Sorry if that offends some of you. Get over it. Not into that. All right. Maybe a little Harry Potter every once in a while, but not Lord of the Rings. What should be the slope here now? Well, first, what's the relationship? These two are perpendicular, I know, so their slopes are negative reciprocal. So what's the slope of my line of reflection then? Line of reflection, 5. Haley, hello?
-5.
Good, -5/2. All right, so we took care of the perpendicular part. I know the slope of my line of reflection is -5/2. Well, what about the bisector part? Bisector part? All right, ready? Another vocabulary term. If the line of reflection is going to bisect my segment, it's going to go through what's that point on AA prime? Midpoint. Here we go. So let's find the midpoint of AA prime. And some of you are like, why the heck do I need to do that? Oh, you'll see. You'll see. Anybody up on their midpoint formula game? We've used it every unit. I don't want to go back to unit 1 and look through my notes to find it. What is it? Add your x's and divide by 2. Add your y's, divide by 2. Go ahead, kids. AA prime. Add your x's, divide by 2. Add your y's, divide by 2. Whew. And then we'll talk, why the heck do I need the midpoint? Who cares? I'm looking for the line of reflection. All right, line of reflection. Midpoint. Ho! 1, 2, 3. Aiden.
1/2, 4.
Yep. If anybody has 0.5, you can leave it. Again, why? Why do I need this? Again, remember, what's the ultimate goal? Find the line of reflection, the equation for it. And any time in this class anyway this year, I've had you write the equation of the line. You've needed 2 things. You've needed the slope. And what else do I always need to write an equation of any line? And that was anti-dramatic. The y-intercept, remember that? You need the slope, which we have, -5/2, and you need what the y-intercept is. That's where the midpoint's going to come into play. Because the only way I've shown you guys this year to find the y-intercept is using y equals mx plus b. And out of these 4 letters, which one's the y-intercept? B, yeah. So we got to plug in for the other 3. We already know the m value, -5/2. And what did we always plug in for y and x? A point on the line we're writing the equation for. That's why you needed the midpoint. The only point I know that's going to be on my line of reflection is the midpoint. That's on the line of reflection, so I need to plug it in to find the y-intercept. So in for y is going to go 4, and in for x is going to go 1/2. That is why you need to find the midpoint, because I need a point to plug in that's on the line of reflection. And yeah, you're going to start getting some decimals and fractions. It's not going to be pretty every time. What is that y-intercept now of that line of reflection when you have it? Oh, going real deep. Zeev. 5.25. I'm going to leave it as a fraction just because that's how I roll when I do these problems. I'm going to leave it as 21/4, but if you guys want 5.25, that's fine. All right, we got everything we need. So now we'll just do the line of reflection equation now. We reflected over the line y equals slope, -5/2, x, y-intercept, 21/4, or 5.25. When you are asked to find the line of reflection, it's just a fancy way of saying find the equation of the perpendicular bisector. Every line of reflection is a perpendicular bisector. Whoa, big man here. Mixed number, 5 1/4. Yeah, sure, go ahead. Nice. Hey, by the way, fresh cut this weekend?
Yeah.
Looks good. Professional or homegrown? Professional? Good. How much say do you get?
Like all of it.
All of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But depends. Like if we have something coming up, I'll say something.
Yeah, so got to chime in.
Yeah.
But what about this one? Looks like you had all the say in it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. What do you ask for?
Just like a trim.
That's it?
Yeah.
No blade or anything on the side? Or okay. All right, looks good. Looks decent. No gel or anything, just let it natural?
Yeah.
Okay, all good. All right, moving on. Everyone else good? All right. All right, let's move on. So that's one honors level reflection is find it. Now let's reflect over it. Okay, let's reflect over it. I don't know why that's there. Okay, here we go. So point A is 1, 4. Up, over 1, up 4, point A. And now I'm asking you to reflect over this line that is not vertical, that is not horizontal, that's not y equals x or y equals negative x. So nothing from Friday. Can we just get a quick visual of what this line we're going to reflect over looks like? Graph it real quick from your algebra days. What's the y-intercept of this line? 2. So everyone go ahead, graph 2 on the y-axis. And let's use our slope to plot a couple more points. The slope is of this line of reflection, 1/2. So I can go up 1, right 2. Remember these days? Up 1, right 2. I just want to get an idea of what this line of reflection looks like. All right, so I'm going to reflect over that line. All right, are we ready for this? It's going to be intense. Let's make a plan before we write anything down. Let's make a plan. Don't do this on your graph. I'm going to do it on mine. Based on what you know about reflections, we know that it should be just completely on the opposite side with the same distance away. So I'm going to eyeball it. I have no idea what my actual point is. I'm just going to eyeball this, and I'll say, I don't know, it's right there. I'm going to say A prime is right there. Now let's talk, how can I get there? All right, how can I get the land on the exact spot? Here's our plan. Let me connect that segment. What do you know about this line of reflection in that segment I just made? They are perpendicular. Woo! Ready? What's that point right there called again? That's the midpoint. Everyone's still with me. So if you guys can find that midpoint help me find that midpoint, we can do this. Oh, I know A is 1, 4. We just found the midpoint. Sorry, that should be A. Point A again, 1, 4. We'll know the midpoint. And then remember the days we used to find the other endpoint by doing the old skip method? That's what I want to do with it, to find A prime. But I can't do that unless you find the midpoint. Right? So I need your help finding the midpoint before we go to the skip method. How can I find the midpoint without using the formula because I don't have enough information? Isn't this midpoint? That's where the two lines intersect each other? Isn't that just where they intersect each other, right? That's where the midpoint's going to be? Do you guys remember in Algebra 1 last year using your calculators to find the point of intersection of two lines? Yes, no, or you weren't allowed to do that? Okay, well, you can use you type in whoa, put them down, you're not ready yet. In your calculator here, you type in 2 equations, it'll tell you where they intersect. And that's what I want to do. I want to type in both equations here. Calculator will tell me where it intersects. That'll be my midpoint, and then I can do the skip method. Problem is, that's the only equation you can type in. I need to know the second equation, the equation of A prime, so we can type both of them in the calculator. So that is our first job right now, is help me write the equation of A prime, that segment that's formed. Help me write that equation. And then once we do, we'll type both into the calculator, see where they intersect. That's my midpoint, and we get to A prime. So that's our plan. I'm not going to help you with this. You help me. How can I write the equation of A prime? What do we already? Hey, come on, we talked last problem. What do we know about those two? These two up here are what to each other? Perpendicular. What's the slope of my line of reflection? 1/2. So what's gotta be the slope of A prime? It's Gotta be. Gotta be what? The negative reciprocal, which is -2. We're okay on how I know the slope of AA prime without doing rise over run. That's a perpendicular bisector. They're perpendicular to each other. So I know the slope. What else am I missing for the equation? I got the slope, missing the y-intercept. All right, let's go. I know I get that from y equals mx plus b. We're going to solve for b. I think we're all confident to plug in -2 for m. Where do I get the y and the x? Remember what the y and the x are. It is a point I know for sure is on AA prime. What is a point I am sure is on AA prime? A! I gave it to you. 1, 4. That's on the line. Plug those in for your x and your y. So 4, your y equals -2 times 1, the x. Go ahead and solve for b. When you have b solved for, let me know. 16. Just predicting the future there, Z. All right, so here you go. The equation of AA prime, y equals -2x plus 6. So I have the line of reflection equation. I now have AA prime. Where do they intersect? Because that is going to be my midpoint. All right, grab your calculators because it sounds like some of you guys didn't have the privilege of doing this last year. Go to Grapher, type both in. Type the line of reflection and AA prime in. I'll do it with you. Let's head over to Grapher. Y equals. You guys know you can hit the enter button and then pick the y equals template. I don't know if you knew that. Y equals 1/2 x plus 2. And then right in there, add another element. Y equals -2x plus 6. And once you have those two in there, plot them. Oh, there's my line of reflection. There's AA prime, right? Just an extended version of it. And I want to know where they intersect. I believe you guys can just scroll over to where they intersect and it'll literally say on your screen, intersection. You didn't do this last year? I am very hard to believe.
No, I think we did.
Very hard to believe you didn't have teachers that let you do this last year. So everyone has the point of intersection, aka the midpoint of AA prime. So 1.6, 2.8. And now some of you looked at me like I had 10 heads when I talked about the skip method, like you never were here all of quarter 1. Oh yeah, that's right, because you've never seen page curl either. So maybe you weren't here. You know, maybe all of you weren't here on October, right? Maybe I just had an empty class on the 11th, 13th, and the 1st of November. Yeah, I'm going to keep rubbing it in. Wait till I find the one where a couple of you guessed page curl or nominated it. Then the roof is just going to explode. I just didn't have time to find one. So I got 1.4 as point A. You just found the midpoint, 1.6, 2.8 of this segment. All right, let's find the other endpoint, my final answer now. Let's find that other endpoint. All right, 1 to 1.6. How many units are we traveling? 0.6 to the right. So plus 0.6. Do it again. Add 0.6 again. My x coordinate will be, what do we got? 2.2. All right, let's do it for the Y's now. 4 to 2.8. What are we doing there? Definitely going down, but how many? 1.2. All right, go down 1.2 again. 1.6. And again, I wish I could say I have a fully guaranteed method to see if you guys are right, but the best I can do for you is see if it's in the ballpark. Over 2.2, up 1.6. Yeah, that's pretty good right there. All right, definitely on the other side of the line and just as close as A is. You know, if I get something on the other side of the line and it's way over here, I get did something wrong. I have no self-respect. All right. Questions, Zeev?
1.5, like 1.5 and 2.75.
Hit your back button. Do you have the correct equations plugged in?
Yeah, I checked that.
1/2 x plus 2, negative 2x plus 6. You do. And then when you hit graph, make sure you go over the point of intersection. You just can't leave it hanging out here. Make sure it's right on the point of intersection.
Oh, it was slightly off. Yeah.
Slightly off. Okay. You good now? Okay. Any other questions? All right, you only have 2 problems. All right, because they're going to take you a little bit. Just say, whoa, 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 whoa. You're not ready to eat yet. Just so there's no confusion when you start tackling this first problem. Okay, here's your first problem. It says reflect the entire triangle over this line y equals 3x. So yes, that means you're going to have to take point D reflected over just like we did. Point C reflected over, point E reflected over. So you're going to have to do what we just did here 3 different times for each vertex. Okay? Oh, are you kidding? It's 2 problems tonight. You're in honors. Suck it up. Anything else? No whining. We had enough whining on Friday. All right, look where that turned out. Yeah. Nothing else? All right, let's go. Let's get going then.